Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, this is the B Game's latest version. Latest version by virtue of the fact that I've been working on it for the past little while. So, first of all, the changes. If you look here, I have changed a couple of little things. So I combined foraging and scouting into one action. So all the bees that you put into foraging can either A, collect, or B, scout. So as we go around the board, let's say it's green's turn to start with. Green puts a few bees into foraging and scouting. So 3 bees will either forage or scout. So the first bee might forage, the second bee might scout, third bee might scout. Or any sort of variation and concoction between those two options. But all the foraging will go around the table, and everybody will do all their foraging 3 bees at a time, either scouting or collecting. So combination of foraging and scouting was the first thing that happened. Second thing is processing. I replaced that with processing. Every bee that you put into processing will flip over a nectar token to a honeybee token, to a honey token. So if I put, why is it blue? If I put 2 bees into processing, I'll be able to flip over 2 of these tokens to the honey side. I also added text to all of these little things to help players see what actually it is that each one of these things does. And that also removes the need for that extra sheet that was always so troublesome. This one. Removes the need for that by just putting all the terms right there. Very helpful, very easy, barely an inconvenience. Build is the same, nursing is the same, guarding is the same, but it has just more text on how robbing works. Between guard and rob, you should be able to figure out how a rob works. And other things. I've halved, pretty much, more than halved actually, the size of each player's hive. So the maximum size that you can have is 48. Can't go above that. That's when you're at capacity. That's when you should really start looking at swarming. Speaking of swarming, you can swarm at 10 honey and 10 bees. Now, I've made honey harder to get by virtue of needing to process it, but I've also increased the amount of bees that you can have in your hive. So, each bee that you put into nursing will allow you to get 1 bee. So if I put 1, 2, 3, why? Why are you blue? There we go. If I put 4 bees into nursing, I will be able to spend 4 pollen. 1, 2, 3, 4. Get rid of it, removed. Whoosh. Because my hive is this big, so I can grow 1, 2, 3, 4 bees a turn. If my hive were this big, I could grow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If it were this big, I could grow 8, 10, 12. So this is the size of your hive, and it's built by building. Oh, we'll put that back, and actually we'll lock all those too. But size of the hive, if it's here, I can build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bees a turn. If it's here, I can build 6, and so on and so forth. Depending if I have the amount of pollen to do it. If I don't have enough pollen to do it, I can't grow that many bees. If I can grow 6 bees, but I only have 4 pollen, I can only grow 4 bees. So if I put 4 bees into nursing here, I would spend 1, 2, 3, 4. We can just do this. 4 pollen to get 4 new bees. Kind of nice, kind of easy. So I have the size of the hives, but I doubled the amount of bees that you can have. In addition, when we do beekeeping, we do it in supers. The big box is called a super, and the combs that go inside of it are frames. So in general, there'll be about 8 to 10 frames per super, and so I've kind of replicated that here by making it 8 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 per level. So if you kind of think about how a hive would be, you would have We build them from the bottom up, but they would, growing in nature would be from the top down, because that's how bees build. We as beekeepers steward them to our convenience, not the way that, bees would build normally. So they would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or in this case 6. I've also replaced counters with tokens. So if we come back here, I don't want to say this is a bookmark, thank you. Before it was counters, so you would have, I can't even find them right now. All right, before it was counters, so the counters would say, all right, my pollen is at 5, 15, whatever. Now it's just your pollen is at what your pollen is at. You count it up. You can put pollen here, you can put pollen here, you can put pollen anywhere that you have space to put it. Same thing with nectar, you can put nectar there. However, if you cover up these little guys, you won't be able to build those as bees. So even if I put 4 into nursing, I only have 1 space available that will give me a bee. I could fill it with honey, but then I wouldn't be able to use it as a bee. See, here I can only build 2 bees. Here I can build 4. However, these will get used. So it's not crippling if you put it in there because you don't have the space for it. But yeah. What else? Yeah, honey can be robbed, nectar won't be robbed. This will probably get changed again later on, but whatever. I reduced the number of bees that a player starts with to 12. As well, trees can be placed, let's say you're brown, 1, 2, 3, 4 away from your hive. Everything else can be placed a maximum of 3 away from your hive. But trees can be placed 4. So if there's a tree that pops up, you might want to consider gobbling it. I have not changed how swarming works. What I mean by that is it's exactly the same. Once you swarm, you get another hive that's exactly the same as your current one. And you control both of them. The first player to 3 hives wins the game. Once you build your 3rd hive, you've won. Weather is the same. Rain still needs to get changed to say you can still forage 1 hex away from you. Yeah, I think at this point I'm just looking forward to playtesting it. I'm like 80% sure I'm going to like processing because it's such an important and crucial part of bees that if you don't include it, you have done a disservice to education of how it works. Because bees don't just collect honey, they collect nectar, which they then turn into honey. Same sort of thing with pollen. Not including pollen in the game is kind of does a disservice to how bees really operate. Yeah, I'm just kind of anxious to see how this goes. In addition, giving every player their own one of these forces them to keep track of it, which I kind of like. Also, since honey is now harder to get, it's going to incentivize people to rob. What I'll also do a little pool for players to collect from. Yeah, everything else is the same. Yeah, so you can fill these spaces in. You might not want to. There's enough spaces that you can fill them in if you need to, and it adds a little bit more player choice, player optionality. Yeah, anxious to see how it goes. Thank you for tuning in. Bye.